G'day, mate. Welcome back to Captain Ministry with me, Jitty. Today is all going to be about plenty of food. I want to have plenty of food. I don't want to have any more food worries whatsoever. And I really don't want to ever play with food again. I want to just do food once, never have to worry about it again. That is going to be today's grand plan, today's grand idea. But first, as always, I need to thank you guys. I need to thank you guys for liking the videos, leaving me the wonderful comments, sharing the videos. Also, I need to thank those that are becoming YouTube members, YouTube sponsors, YouTube members, choose to support the channel, and throwing their money behind the idea of keeping this channel ad-free and supporting the channel. We have YouTube membership starting at just $1, because if everybody who watched the video threw in $1 per month, I'd never have to worry about ads or paying the bills ever again. But with all that said, first off, we need to thank today's brand new member. Today's brand new member is Charles Holiday. Charles Holiday, thank you for driving this dump truck forever, because we still have more of the sea that we need to fill in. As we can see, we are filling in this side of the map slowly. They're doing a good job. We're having a few issues finding more rock, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First off, I want to talk about this brand new setup. This brand new setup is my new poop setup. We have moved poop across the map, and I've been waiting for you guys to get here so we can build the last few things and turn it on. 5 workers needed. Of course we need 5 workers. Actually, I need to unpause more of these guys, 9 of them to be exact. Okay, so the idea is previously on the other side of the map, we had, oh god, I hope this works, we had this little guy out here which was exporting 315 nasty water every month, and we had a couple of wastewater treatment plants, each processing 160 wastewater per month, which means I capped out at 320. We're potentially going to keep producing more poop than that if I keep having more people in the colony, which I'm obviously planning to have. So I upgraded the system thoroughly, and the brand new system now has 4 of them, which means in theory I can double the population up to about 1,200. 1,200 is a lot of people. I hope I don't get that far, but we will see. At the same time, I've moved other items across here as well. So we're now making filter medium on site as we were before. We're also processing the sludge on site as we were before. Compost is going to get kicked out into a bucket, and still, unfortunately, is going to be transported across to this side to be processed. I am going to move the bio mass across the other side as well. You guys are no, you finished processing poop, but you still have some poop to process. Okay, I'm going to move that across the other side of the map as well, but I first need to clear some room. Also, with us not processing poop here, eventually our statue of maintenance is going to run out of power, which means, or fuel gas, which means I have a brand new one built, which is at 99%, because I wanted to be here with you guys so we could turn it on. Whether it has fuel gas or not, I don't know. Obviously not. Oh, there's fuel gas in the pipe. Okay. Which means this is going to turn on 1 second, and then we're going to have our statue maintenance on this side of the map. Yes, there we go. All right. So this is now moved to this side of the map. I still need to put biomass over here and other things, but to do that, I need to remove this stuff, which is all temporary, because today it's going to be about plenty of food. To get plenty of food, first thing I need to do is turn off plenty of food. We can't afford for the people to eat twice as much, well, 50% extra, when I'm about to cut that belt right there. That belt right there is all the food into the main food processing, which means that we're now on backup food, because I've been storing up corn and also storing up fruit and veggies for a couple of months now, just so we can feed the people. And that's going to be our grand plan. We're going to be running on backup food whilst we demolish everything here. That is being built. That is being built. That is not being built. That is now being built. Okay. I want to demolish this. Now, I'd love to build a brand new food build with you guys live, but as this is taking like 3 or 4 whole dedicated episodes to put together, between, you know, processing the food and doing the chicken farms, which was like an episode by itself, and then doing the ethanol, and then doing the medical, it's like been 3 or 4 episodes just to get all this done. Which means we're not going to spend 3 or 4 episodes doing the whole lot a second time. What we are going to do is we're just going to demolish everything. And the way I want to do that is I'm going to come to the right hand side, and I want to cut those connections. Yeah, because I want to keep those. I want to cut those connections. No, just there. And I want to empty the giant tank of ethanol, the giant tank of animal feed, and the giant box of plastic, because I cannot move or delete everything else whilst all that's there. And then basically I want to come through here and I want to remove, we want to put a cut in here as well. Yep, and then basically what I want to do is I want to remove, I'm going to hold down shift, because when I hold down shift, it does everything from one end of the belt to the other end of the belt. Yep. That looks good to me. Oh, chickens. We need to set that slider to 0 and then have a mass culling, because it turns out you can't delete a chicken farm whilst it has chickens in it. Who would have thought? And yeah, I'm going to hold down shift and we're just literally going to remove everything. Everything must go. This is an everything must go sale. It all has to go away. What else? Everything in there has to go. Everything through there has to go. Everything in here has to go. Everything in there has to go. I've got to make sure that I don't delete our belt, our pipe, and our other belt that is currently removing items from this build. That needs to go. Those guys need to go. That needs to go. That needs to go. I think that's everything. No, they need to go. Okay, that feels close to everything. All right, now there's a couple of things I need to manually remove. One is going to be wheat. Did you guys... Oh, you picked up all the corn. Okay. So we're going to have wheat, which needs to be import on, copy and paste. Build both those. Corn mash needs to be built as well. And... Oh, steel. Yes, I have a box of steel here, which we need to have trucks have a location to put things in. And with that done, and a whole lot of trucks trying to run around getting all this done, we are going to throw 100 and something Uni at the problem and have far less Uni than I wanted to get this project done. That should tell us all the things we missed. Okay, we want to delete that. We want to delete that. I want to delete that. Obviously, that exhaust. Those pipes under there. Nope. Not that one. That one. That giant bucket. That. Those belts there. I want to set you to a priority 1, please. I want to set you to a priority 1. That bucket can go as well. Okay. Alright, we'll leave the trucks to... Oh, no, I missed this one. Priority 1. Alright, we'll leave the trucks and the belts to finish moving... Oh. This one. Finish moving what's left, and we'll talk about some of the changes that happen around the map. So, some of the changes is, as we can see, we are dumping out here. We also have our mass transit belts. Our mass transit belts no longer come from the right, they now come from left. They are actually attached now to these guys, which are doing a great job of clearing out a large chunk of the map. We are trying to get back to the gold because, well, I want to be the richest captain in the world, and to do that, I need to mine out all the gold. Speaking of gold, we had a box of gold, which turned into 2 boxes of gold, which now is 2.5 boxes worth of gold. I am slowly becoming the richest captain in the world. Also means that all our buckets of gold ore have been removed, which means obviously we need to mine out some more gold. So that is what these guys are doing. On top of that, I have, as you can see, just a tiny amount of dirt. Can I? No, we'll just set you to be emptied. There we go. All right. As for out here, I have resorted to temporary towers because I just got sick of moving the same ones over and over. Hopefully I remember where these temporary towers are and delete them. I've been leaving them as ghosts because they work fine as a ghost to tell trucks where to dump things, and if they're a ghost, hopefully I can see them and go, oh, why the hell are you still there? And I remove them. But yes, we're dumping rock here. You are being set up to dump dirt. We're doing a little bit more dumping slowly, bit by bit by bit. We also have, what else has changed? A lot, actually. I've spent most of my time working on the new food build. Really, 50 ethanol. pipe. Oh, that's just because it's ultra fast belt. It takes forever to delete. That needs to go away. You're still going. Oh, you're only Mark 2 belt. No, Mark 3, please. Alright, will you hold 50? No, you'll only hold 32. Okay, can I give more pipe, please? That'll do. Oh, 0, done. Okay, delete, because once it's in a pipe, I can say delete. Alright, with that done, they're out of the way. Plastic's almost done. We find more random belts on the ground. Are there any other bits I've missed? I don't think so. You can go away. So I just need this and this to empty. Alright, so our plan. Our plan is going to be a devilish little plan. Today, we are going to be, well, we're going to be putting in a whole blueprint. I have spent at least 5 hours working on food, because food is... Food in Captain Ministry is very complicated. Very, very, very complicated. There are many items that can be turned into many other items. And, of course, I want to have all the options in the world to turn item into item into item. I also want to be efficient. I also, like I said, I don't want to have to ever deal with food once again. So our plan is to put in a giant build to handle all our food needs. And to do that, we are going to be copying this monstrosity. And pause the game. Yep, because the game does not like holding large blueprints. And I want to line this up about here. Alright, and then we're going to talk about this build bit by bit by bit. So there's a couple of things we need to get through, or get a couple of things we need to talk about first. First off is actual belts and transportation. So I had a giant 450 belt, which handled just mixed food straight across. One 450 belt's probably not enough. We're probably going to need 2, and in fact, because I now have more green space, we're probably going to need 3. So I need to sort of plan around having 3 mixed food belts going across. Along with that, I need to have a couple of dedicated food belts. As for our food belts coming back, we're going to need a dedicated belt for bread, meat, eggs, tofu, sausage. That's 4. Also snacks and cake. So that's 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 7 dedicated belts to come across. At the same time, I also have an ethanol pipe that we need to bring across. This ethanol pipe, don't forget, passes all the way around the map and stops at oil. Pause. Thank you. You are going to kill my plastic again. Awesome. Okay, so we have that dedicated ethanol pipe. That is because there is a good chance, hopefully if I could do this right, we should be able to swap back over to ethanol for all our plastic and rubber production. Also, we're going to make plastic up here as well. So that's another thing we need to keep in mind. So we have a number of belts that need to come this way. On top of that, I have a number of belts that need to go over there. One thing that needs to go over there, dedicated on its own separate belt, is going to be potatoes. Well, actually, no, I guess that can go on a mixed belt. But one thing that definitely has to go over there is fruit, because fruit is needed for cake. Speaking of cake, that is the very first production line we're going to talk about, is cake. Now, all these are built with a simple plan in mind. I wanted to prioritize and convert food into its most efficient form. Yes, and also have a system that would never hopefully back up. That's the plan, at least. So, first off, we have cake. Now, cake is going to require flour plus sugar plus cooking oil plus eggs plus fruit. Fruit is, I've got a marker here. In fact, I've got a number of marker boxes around the place so we can see what goes where. So, we need to get flour into this. Flour is, of course, going to come from wheat, which is going to be our very next production line right here. Wheat has a couple of things it can get turned into. It can get turned directly into fuel, gas, and compost. Really don't want to do that. It can also get turned into flour and animal feed. Our primary purpose is going to be flour. Our secondary purpose is going to be animal feed. Which means, let's bring up the pause button. It means that I want to unpause all of that. Okay, so flour is going to come through here through a little balancer, and we're going to prioritize flour. Wheat's going to come in through a balancer. We're going to prioritize into turning into wheat first. Flour first, and then into bread. Our flour does have a dedicated belt that comes here past cake, and then actually continues out the end because I need to take that on to other processes, because flour turns into obviously bread. It also turns into cake and also into sausages. So I need to take that flour on to other places to potentially turn it into cake and sausage. As for the rest of the flour, it's a direct 16 flour for 16 bread, so these are all direct linked to one another, and that keeps things nice and simple. The excess that comes out here comes to the back, and that's going to be potentially turned to animal feed. Next on our list is going to be, let's just unpause those and unpause this one, which is linked to all of this. Okay. Next on our list is soybeans. Soybeans, which we're currently not growing, but we've had the research for quite some time, can get turned into a couple of things. It can get turned into tofu, it can get turned into cooking oil, and it can get turned into animal feed. Now, animal feed's the first one I'm going to talk about. We can turn 60 potatoes into 48 animal feed. We can turn 60 wheat into 36 animal feed, and we can turn 60 corn into 66 animal feed, and then 60 soybeans into 108 animal feed. You'd think that you'd want to put soybeans at animal feed. The problem is getting 60 potatoes, 60 wheat, or 60 corn is super, super easy compared to getting 60 soybeans. We don't want to turn soybeans into animal feed. We want to turn everything else and then dump the excess into animal feed. So that's going to be a plan for that one, which means it's slightly more complicated. We have soybeans coming here, which are prioritized out to here to turn into tofu. I don't know why people want to eat tofu, but we have the option for tofu should people demand the need for tofu. Also means we have somewhere to dump sulfur and limestone, because if people want to eat rocks, I guess I'm going to let them. I'm not going to complain. As for anything excess, so if we've maxed out our tofu, we can then come over to this balancer. This balancer will push it out into this balancer, which will then run it into this production line. This production line is our oil. It is the good old cooking oil. Now, cooking oil comes from both canola and soybean. Our canola can only get turned into cooking oil. As I said, I can't let this system back up because we have a whole bunch of mixed belts full of mixed foods, which means the system can't ever stop. It needs to keep processing at all times. This is one of the reasons I have these buffers. So if we have a sudden pile of soybeans, come through, or a sudden pile of canola come through, it has somewhere it can buffer in the meantime whilst it gets processed. But obviously 16 canola is much easier to get than 16 soybean, and we get twice the amount of cooking oil. So we're prioritizing once again for using the canola for cooking oil. Also, the canola can't get turned into anything else, so it has to go into cooking oil. If it can't go into cooking oil, well, then the system will back up. So that means that this little guy, well, actually this one, is prioritized for the canola in. It will take in soybean if it has to, but if it doesn't have to, it won't. And that means if this can't output this way, it then outputs this way, which comes up the back, which comes and gets collected over here into what will be a giant belt that will go in animal feed, which we'll get to in a minute. Next up in our list, we have corn. Corn has a few things it can get turned into. Let's unpause this section. Corn can get turned into animal feed. It can also get turned into snacks, and it can be turned into corn mash. So corn is going to come through this particular balancer, which I don't have a priority on, which is maybe a mistake. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I left that one tile gap to potentially run a belt up here, because we're going to want to prioritizing corn into making snacks first. Snacks have two options. One is potatoes and one is corn, but getting 24 potatoes compared to 24 corn is they're both about as easy and as hard to get as the other one, which means I prefer to use corn if possible, because we get 25% extra snacks for all the other products. So corn is going to potentially get sent to snacks first. Otherwise, it'll get turned into corn mash, and then any excess corn, which the people haven't turned into corn mash, hasn't been turned into snacks, comes up the back and then goes off to animal feed, which we'll get to in a minute. All right, next up for our corn mash gets turned into ethanol. The other thing gets turned into ethanol is sugar. Sugar cane only goes into sugar, so obviously it needs to be processed in there first. Sugar has a couple of options. One, we're going to need some dedicated sugar to make cake. We also need dedicated sugar to make antibiotics. Lastly, we can convert sugar into ethanol. So it's going to come through this balancer here, which has two priority outs. One is this one, which goes over and feeds cake. The other one is this magic blue belt here, which goes off to do our antibiotics, which we'll talk about in a minute. And the last one is the one that comes over here to make our ethanol. Now, ethanol, can I unpause that? And then this one, I'm actually going to uni build. I just want to uni build one of these because I'm poor on uni, but this one's sort of important. As for ethanol, we have two options for making ethanol. One is from sugar and one is from corn mash. It's more efficient to make it out of sugar. Also, I can't let sugar back up. So I want to use the sugar first. Ethanol, the corn mash has the option of the corn being turned into animal feed. And really, realistically, at the end of the day, the animal feed I can burn. So animal feed should never, ever back up. It's our perpetual dump. We can put unlimited amounts of material into animal feed and it will never, ever, ever, ever cause us a problem. But sugar good. So obviously we're going to use sugar first and then ethanol second. Corn mash second, which means these particular builds have this pipe which hooks into our corn mash, and then runs into this building. On top of that, they also have a belt to fit in sugar. And what we've done in each of these individual buildings is we've actually prioritized to make sure that they're using the sugar over the corn mash. So if they have access to both of them, they are going to use the sugar item first and then the corn mash only if there's no sugar. And that's one of the things we're doing to just prioritize the system, make sure it works the way we want it to. As for our ethanol, I need to build that section next. Our ethanol can get turned to many things, but there are a couple of items it has to get turned into. It has to get turned into disinfectant. The only way we can get disinfectant is with ethanol. There are no other options. So we have, once again, a little balancer here with some spaghetti pipes that force it off to make disinfectant first. Let's unpause that. And sugar also goes into, we're still talking about sugar. Sugar needs to prioritize in antibiotics because we need antibiotics to make our medical supplies. As for our antibiotics, I have aimed the system around making a certain amount of antibiotics to make a certain amount of medical supplies to make a certain amount of everything. We're making, I have 3 chemical plants, doing a total of 72 disinfectant, and then for every 1 disinfectant, I get out 2 medical packs. So I have built a system around making 144 medical packs, which is a lot of medical packs, don't get me wrong, but I'd prefer to have a lot of medical packs rather than not enough medical packs. One of the reasons we've done this is, if we go look at the contracts, there is a contract here in the late game, let's go up to a 6 module ship, to swap our medical supplies for our copper ore. I've been trying to build this particular series about trying to become 100% self-sustained. Okay, I don't want to have a situation where I have to keep digging up limestone and coal and copper and iron and stuff out of the island. I'm trying to get to 100% sustainability. I don't know if it's possible, but it's sort of a goal. Now, to do that, I need to look at these contracts, which we've been doing. We're already doing like oil. We don't mine oil off the island. We don't import oil from one of the world maps, which have a finite amount of oil. We're getting it from vehicle parts. Same goes for coal. Coal, we're still a little bit dependent on the island coal, and that's just because I haven't set up more nuclear reactors, which I should do. But then again, I need to look at where we can get uranium ore from to have an unlimited supply of nuclear reactors. So, you know, these are all the things we're taking into consideration. But yes, I've decided to put in a lot of medical supplies because even at the end of the day, I can just pause the buildings. That's what we're going to be doing for a lot of these builds. In fact, I'm going to quickly start pausing some of the stuff that's already built because population is going to become a problem. Cake does not need to run at all. And shop. So yes, I'm planning around having a lot of medical 3, which means I have my medical 1 into my medical 2, and then I have rooms set up already for doing medical 3. Medical 3 will mean I need to get anesthetics and also morphine, which is going to be more food processing, which means we have some room here to do that sort of food processing. Okay, with that out of the way, we have you got hit pretty hard. We have a certain amount of Okay, we have a certain amount of belts sticking out the back. First one is biomass, which comes from sugar. Biomass needs to get kicked into this system as it was previously. Good chance we're moving that system to the other side of the base, like I said, once I clear up a whole bunch of stuff. So that's going to potentially go there. On top of that, we have this belt. This belt is for all the things that happen to make animal feed as part of the process. I want to pause that one. Which means I need to get the next section of the build. The next section of the build is this section, which is, let's pause the game really quickly so I can hopefully get this roughly in the right spot. It's going to be permanently here, whether I like it or not. Let's go with here-ish, which means that's our animal feed, which is going to come into there. Cool. Unpause. All right. Next up is, well, our chickens. Our chickens and everything to go with our chickens. We have a whole bunch of systems here, which are all tied together. So first off, we have, not that one, that one. We have animal feed processing. Animal feed processing features, well, a whole bunch of things that need to be processed in the exact wrong order. Cool. Soybeans first. Wheat second. Potatoes third. All right. We need to process the soybeans first because I have no other option for soybeans. This is the only place they can be finally removed. Of course, then we have wheat second. Wheat can go into here second because, well, again, I don't have any other way to deal with it. Then we have potato. Potato is going to be our third option. Again, I don't really have anywhere else we can process this except into stacks. And then last option is going to be our corn, because realistically I want to put corn in the stacks first. We have, of course, a whole bunch of chicken sheds. Previously we had 6 chicken sheds. This time I've updated it to 12. I'm hoping with twice as many chicken sheds we should have enough meat and eggs, but I'm starting to think maybe we don't because we have a lot of people and I can see myself needing more people as the game continues. All right, let's talk about meat. We, of course, have chicken carcasses, which need water and salt and all sorts of other things from our chicken sheds. We're going to process, now we have twice as many chicken sheds. I can run twice as many food processors making meat, which also means I can run twice as many food processors making sausage from the meat trimmings. No, I can't. I can only run one of you. Yes. Oops. I thought you were output 12. Okay. Turns out we only run one sausage machine. There you go. We've all learned something together. So these are all linked together. On top of that, they all need salt, which means the second belt that passes all the way through. I know it's really hard to tell. Everything has a slight blue tinge. Runs all the way through here because we also need salt for snacks. Snacks also need vegetable oil, which needs to pass through cakes first, and then it's going to wrap up here somehow. I don't know exactly how yet. Also need plastic. Plastic is on the right hand side, not that one, that one, which is hopefully being emptied from this giant bucket. Nope. Really hope we start emptying from that giant bucket. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do this. Cool. We have plastic down here, which means I need to take plastic all the way up and over to the back. On top of that, we have salt, and we've spoken about salt. We also need to bring in both the corn and the potato. Once again, I've built these systems so they can have in salts on the second belt. The third belt is going to be corn or potato, doesn't really matter. And the bottom belt is going to be dedicated the other one, whichever one we didn't already do. Again, the reason is I can have each of these buildings prioritized depending on what they have access to. Obviously, we want to use corn first, but if I don't have any corn, because we have a fluid system, we have a fluid system when it comes to our food processing, I have no idea what we're going to have in any one moment, and I don't want systems to back up or stop processing or whatever. We're going to try and go for the more efficient recipe, but if I'm all out of corn, we'll use some potato instead. And this will, of course, give us snacks. Now, with our snacks, our meat, and our eggs, and everything else, we can go to our last step of the process, which I haven't put down yet, which is going to be our food packs. Our food packs are going to bring in bread. This is why we have a giant bread build. Also, it's going to bring in our stacks. This is why we have a decent stack build. And it's also going to bring in either meat or eggs. Obviously, there is a very real chance that I do not have enough chickens, enough chicken sheds. My biggest concern is each one of these uses like 15 animal feed per minute, which consequently means you need a lot of processing for animal feed, which means you need a lot of food. Also, on top of this, we'll notice that a lot of belts and a lot of pipes are running in the wrong direction, and a lot of them need to be upgraded. I built a lot of this with just level 1 belts and pipe. Well, level 1 belts, because I didn't know which ones would have to upgrade, and then we need to do a whole bunch of upgrading still to get them all up to the right speed, because I think a lot of them are going to need to be running at 200 or faster to get our processing done. But that is our plan. That is our food processing as it stands. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to spend probably an hour, I would imagine, trying to get all the belts upgraded. Also plug in some sort of food sorting system to get the system running. We're also going to need medical very quickly, which is not plugged in correctly at all. And oxygen is not plugged in correctly to make ethanol, to make our sharps, and to make our anything. It is prioritized, but it doesn't have enough oxygen. It also doesn't have... Oh, it doesn't have water. Water. Let's talk about water really quickly. Water is going to be an ongoing concern. We're going to need to run all of this potentially around about... We need around about 450 water to get this whole system running. So I need potentially a lot of water to keep all the food processing happening. I also potentially on top of that need a lot more water for, well, if we have to add more chicken farms. Each chicken farm is like 18 water. It's like 15 water. It's 15 and 18 are the two numbers. And one's for food and one's for water. And I can't remember which one's which. But we potentially need a lot, like a serious amount of... materials to get everything up and running. I also will admit I have a serious amount of junk currently in currently in the shipyard. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put it in a cart, and I will come back in just a moment for you to talk about how the system finally ended up. And 60 workers needed. Let me guess. No. We probably had a flu. Oh no. No, I just need to pause more buildings. And we're back. And things went mostly smoothly. Not exactly perfectly smoothly, but mostly smoothly. We have most of the systems up and running. Not quite all of them, but most of them are definitely here. We obviously have all the food has been put in. We now also have medical supplies back up and running. And I have just a small stockpile of medical 2. I have a belt set up ready for medical 3 when we get to medical 3. At the same time, we've had to expand a couple of the builds and make like ethanol a little bit larger. We're also processing extra ethanol and cooking oil into diesel, which is good because it means I now have diesel back up at this end of the map. We already need more diesel. Can I? Yeah, please. Thank you. Or more processing to remove excess food into diesel, because why the hell not? Can I plug you in there, please? And build that. And buildings for vehicles. Can I get a fuel station, please? And we'll pop you right there. Because you should now permanently have fuel, which means... you, which is now completely dead, perfect. We can set you to no longer keep full. We can pull the 3 vehicles off of this, and we can, where are we? Put 3 vehicles on here instead. Oh, helps if I set your recipe, cool. We can do that, we can do that, we can do that. Also means I can come through in here and I can start mass demolishing in here instead. That can go away, that can go away. The statue of maintenance, which is now burnt out, can go away. All of that can go away. I cannot quite delete all of this yet. I can delete a portion of it. Okay, that's water for organic fertilizer. No, we can delete that too. Yup. That can go away, that can go away. All of that can go away. We are going to have compost sitting in... Nope. No, that is not being marked for demolish. Cool. We are going to have some compost sitting in this box because I still have biomass being transported over to this side because that hasn't been moved across yet. But as we can see, we can definitely mass demolish a whole bunch of things, which is great. I like removing some of the old infrastructure. We do need to have chlorine over here still because we are making plastic here. In fact, I have a giant box of plastic already ready to go, and this means this side of the base is now supported. Plastic is supported from this side of the base. This has its own plastic. That's probably more accurate. One thing you may notice is we don't actually have enough animal feed. We are processing a certain amount of food in the animal feed, but not quite enough, obviously. And I still have more belt logistics and gymnastics to do. I have moved this bridge over, and I moved biomass over here, and I've done all sorts of things, but there is still more definitely to do, which means in the next episode, although we have a couple of things I do want to look at, a couple of things we definitely want to look at. We are going to be looking at soybean farming. I want to get soybeans up and running, which means we're going to have tofu. Also means we're going to clean up some of the logistics around here. I'll probably do some of that between episodes. We have definitely finished filling in everything over here, and in fact, I found out there is some more space over here we can fill in, which is what one of the things we're going to do. We also have very, very busy trucks because, well, I asked them to start emptying the soil buckets because I got sick of so much soil. We've also taken a giant chunk out of the mountain, and we have even more gold than we had before. I'm a rich boy. I'm a rich boy. Also means that with our new food processing up and running, we can start looking at bigger and better greenhouses. And I don't know. I don't know what we're going to be looking at as well in the next episode. But food is definitely running. We have 21 months worth of food supply, which is made up of meat, eggs, bread, sausages roll in occasionally. No tofu, no cake, no snacks yet. We have plenty of corn, we have plenty of potatoes, we have the good old fruit and vegetable loop. I have pre-routed fruit over here, so it's ready to go for us to start making cake in the next episode. But as you can see, it doesn't matter how many times I try and clean up the spaghetti here, it still looks like a mess. So what I'm going to be doing is doing some more tidying up between episodes, hopefully cleaning up this mess a little bit more, and high supply of compost. We also have a crap ton of fertilizer. And I thought to myself, you know what, at the moment we've got trucks bringing the fertilizer from here and plugging it into a tank down here. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to plumb it in, because we're probably going to add some more farms, and I'm going to plug it in at this end, and we're just going to force it down a pipe, or maybe we'll put it into these farms. I don't know. But I'm trying to cut down on truck transport wherever possible because, well, we're currently running at 1x speed, and I can tell you I'm not getting 60 frames per minute. I'm definitely getting 60 frames per minute, but I'm not getting 60 frames per second because the more the truck's path, the slower the game gets. So I'm trying to cut down on truck transport, and I have no idea where some of these guys are going. You're going to go get that fertilizer we just spoke about, and you are ripping up, well, a giant statue of maintenance. Yeah. Also means that with all the gold we've got, we can probably flesh him out with gold in the next episode as well. Also I have fuel gas here that we need to dispose of, which is going to be yet more diesel. Yeah, we're going to make more diesel at this end of the map as well. I don't know, yeah, probably diesel. I could potentially put it here to make water, but there's a chance. Actually, there isn't a chance. It's a constant supply. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. Because as long as the people keep pooping, we keep having fuel gas. We can turn the fuel gas to water via desalination to make water so they can drink more water so they can poop more. Yeah, it's a closed loop. I like closed loops. Anyway, I'm going to leave this episode here. This is our new food processing. It is massive. It is well over the top. But like I said, I don't want to have to deal with food in the future. And one of the things I'm very, very happy with this build is if I can see, oh look, we have far too much sugar because I need to set up alerts on all these. I can just come in here and go, you know what? Let's just have another sugar processor and another sugar processor, and we can just drop more systems in. No, cut. Thank you. I can just drop more systems in quickly and easily, which I'm a giant fan of. The current problem I think I have is I have too much ethanol, which means that pipe that runs all the way across the map that turns does ethanol or naphtha, I think we're going to be running back on ethanol because, well, I have too much of it. way too much of it. But then again, you know, the more corn I turn into other products, yeah, there's going to be some balancing required. Anyway, I'm going to leave this episode here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed our food rebuild. Obviously, I've still got to bring food packs down and put them here somewhere. But unfortunately, as always, there is limestone in the way. And I accidentally built on some of the limestone. So once again, like the coal problem we had, we're going to have a limestone problem in the future where I'm going to want to have that limestone out of the ground because I don't want to leave any resources hanging around where I haven't used them. Also, we have copper like right there as well. So I don't have enough space, as always. Anyway, I'm going to leave this episode here. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next episode where we start painting things with gold, I think, because that is 22,000 gold. That is, we're rich. Anyway, that's it. I'm out. See you next one. Bye.